For the HCU, there are several properties that can be edited and several others that are view only. There are also some actions that can be carried out from the HCU properties page without going into the edit mode. They are testing the connection between the server and the selected HCU, synchronizing the real-time clock in the HCU with the server, rebooting the HCU, and restoring the HCU. Restoring the HCU is essential if you have had to replace a hard drive in that particular unit. You can also add a virtual HSM to an HCU 200 if desired. To edit the HCU properties, click the Edit button in the lower right corner. The read-only fields are the ID number. This number is assigned to the unit when it is added to the server. The status: online, offline, busy, or error. The IP address, the serial number, the HCU type, the SBC type that's installed in the HCU, the amount of RAM on that SBC, the installed firmware package, and the actual HCU firmware. You can edit the label, you can enter its location, and you can add any relevant notes about the unit that you would like. You can also enable or disable alarms. If the alarms are disabled at the HCU level, they will automatically be disabled on the RPM cards, the RPM ports, and the HSM 1000 if one is present. You can enable or disable thresholds. As with the alarms, if you have disabled the thresholds, they will also be disabled on any device attached to the HCU. If you have purchased the HCU SNMP option and have that license file installed on the server, you will be able to enable the SNMP agent. If the HCU SNMP option is not in the license file, this will be grayed out. New in PathTrak 4.0 is the ability to set from the HCU properties page both the test point compensation and the port attenuation for all ports on the HCU. If the set test point compensation for all ports on this HCU box is checked, a value field will appear. You can directly enter the desired test point compensation value, or you can use the up-down control keys to change the value in 0.1 dB increments. Remember, test point compensation is simply a mathematical additive to the actual measured levels and applies to all live data views in the system. If the set attenuation for all ports on this HCU box is checked, another value field will appear. You can again directly enter the desired or required attenuation value, or you can use the control keys to change the increments in 1 dB steps. Only on RPM 3000 and HCU 200s does the 1 dB increment apply. If there are any RPM 1000s or RPM 2000s in this HCU, the setting will round up to the nearest 10 dB setting. Setting the attenuation properly is vital to having accurate spectral monitoring measurement data. The attenuation setting controls the dynamic range for each port of the RPM card. If the RF signals into the port exceed the dynamic range, the port will be overdriven and the spectral monitoring data, both live and historical, can appear distorted. And the historical data could be missing altogether. The attenuation setting on the properties page affects monitoring from a data collection standpoint and the monitoring view only. The spectrum analyzer has its own independent attenuation control to use for troubleshooting. The last thing you can do from the HCU properties page is delete an HCU. At the bottom of the page is a large red button that is typically disabled. If you have clicked the edit button at the bottom of the properties page, this button will become active and you can delete the HCU if you choose.